Hi guys, and welcome back to Dark Files. Today we're going to be talking about unsolved murders. Now this is part 2 of part 1 I did before. Now the first murder we're going to be talking about is a murder that took place on the 13th of February 2017, and this is called the Snapchat murders. Now if you're young and use social media a lot, this may affect you and put you in an emotional state, so please just bear that in mind while I go throughout this murder case. So two schoolgirls called Libby German, who was 14, and her friend Abigail Williams was hiking along the Montague Bridge Trail, taking selfies and videos like any other teenage girl or boy, until they noticed a heavy set man walking on the trails behind them. So this shows that the man was stalking them and following them. So Libby noticed the man walking behind them and had the right of mind to take a picture of the man with no hesitation. So this shows that she was uncomfortable at the time and did not want to be followed by anyone. And out of nowhere, a low voice is heard saying, "Down the hill."
Guys, down the hill.
And this is pointing out that the man is directing them down the hill so he can murder them out of plain sight of civilization. Sometime later, Libby and Abigail was murdered, and their bodies were later on found in a wooded area less than a mile from where they were last seen alive. So nothing has come up since the murder, and the cause of their death has not been identified, and no one has been detained since the murders of Abigail and Libby. Now this one I'm going to be talking about is a lady called Jill Dando. The popular TV presenter Jill Dando was shot dead on her doorstep of her home in Fulham, London, by a lone gunman in 1999. The death of the TV presenter led to a massive manhunt with over 2,000 possible suspects identified by police, and 140 men who disliked her, making the police more suspicious that one of them was bound to have taken her life. And since we're talking about the police, they have received over 5,000 phone calls from the public and more than 2,500 witness statements. But then a convicted sex offender, Barry George, was then later on found guilty of 37-year-old Jill Dandy's murder in 2001, but then was acquitted 6 years later after a gun residue found on him during the forensic investigation was co-founded. Since then, numbers of different theories have come up saying that Jill was killed by a hitman from one of the most prominent crime families in London, and that the hitmen were Serbian warlords, and that she was assassinated by the IRA. Now this one is really popular it's gone global. This is one of the most unsolved murders in American history, so this one is called The Boy in the Box. So on the 23rd of February 1957, a local man was checking his muskrat traps in the off-road woods of Susquehanna Road in Fox Chase, Philadelphia. While checking his traps, he came across a bassinet box which appeared to contain a dead body in it. Then the man decided not to report the body to the police, afraid that they would discover that the muskrat traps that he placed in the woods are illegal in the United States, but I don't know if they're illegal in the United Kingdom. But 2 days later, a college student called Frederick Benosis was strangely spying on a bunch of girls until he came upon the body in the box. And what he found in the box was really, really sad. It wasn't just any body, it was a boy, which appeared to be completely naked, and his hands and feet were wrinkled as if he had been put in water for a long amount of time, as you would as getting out of a bath or a swimming pool before his death. But when forensics inspected the body, the esophagus contained a dark liquid which suggests that he might have vomited shortly before death, since the cause was bound to be blows to the head. Since the case went global and had attracted the media, no one has come forward to know the identification of the boy. Now the next one we're going to be talking about is something called the torso in the Thames. Now yes, it is what you expect and what it sounds like. So on the 1st of September 2001, detectives discovered a headless torso floating around in the River Thames in London and decided to name him Adam, since the identity has been unknown. Genetic tests on the boy had come back saying that the torso had its head and limbs missing but was wearing orange shorts, and this shows that the torso looked like it belonged to a boy between the ages of 4 and 7, and that he came from Plateau in Nigeria. The police began to believe that he was a victim of a gruesome West African religious sacrifice to to river goddess Ocean, and this was supposed to bring good luck. Now I don't really see how killing a child in such a gruesome way brings good luck, and I just think it's really messed up. Now the next part I'm going to be talking about this case is really really disturbing. So if you want to skip a bit, please just do. Now forensics have said that he had been stretched out horizontally upside down, and the blood had been drained from the body. And this was not the only torso that was found in the River Thames. There have been many other torsos found over the years before this one was discovered. Now the last one we're going to be talking about is a woman called the Black Dahlia. On the 15th of January 1947, a 22-year-old actor, Elizabeth Short, better known as the Black Dahlia, was discovered by a girl called Betty Bersinger. She first thought that she had come across a severed mannequin in a vacant lot in Lamert Park, neighbourhood of Los Angeles. But she was wrong. It was actually a dismembered body of Elizabeth, and her body had been completely drained of blood, just like the last case I was talking about. And her face was slashed from her mouth to her ear. But disturbingly, her body was dissected at the waist, and the upper and lower parts of her body was placed almost a foot away from each other. Her hands had been placed behind her head, and her elbows were bent, and her legs had been spread, and her intestines have been placed underneath her buttocks. But over 150 suspects have been questioned, well as self-confessed Black Dahlia's killers. So there you go guys, thank you so much for watching part 2 of Undiscovered Murders. If you'd like to see any more videos about murders, please just tell me in the comment section, or get out my Instagram and Snapchat. I'll put the link in the description below about my social media. So that's all I have today guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.